Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yatha Vastuni Panyani Hemadini Tatas Tata Paryatanti Nareshveham Jivo Yonishu Kartrishu Yatha Vastuni Panyani Hemadini Tatastata Paryatanti Panareshveham Jivo Yonishu Kartrishu Yatha Vastuni Panyani Hemadini Tatastata Paryatanti Nareshveham Jivo Yonishu Kartrishu. Yatha, just as, Vastuni, commodities, Panyani, meant for trading, Hema Adini, such as gold, Tata Tata, from here to there, Paryatani, move about, Nadeshu, among men, Evam, in this we, Jiva, the living entities, Yonishu, in different species of life, Kartarishu, in different material fathers, Translation. Just as gold and other commodities are continually transferred from one place to another in due course of purchase and sale, so the living entity, as a result of his fruitive activities, wanders throughout the entire universe, being injected into various bodies in different species of life by one kind of father after another. Purport. It has already been explained that Chitraketu's son was his enemy in a past life, and had now appeared as his son just to give him more severe pain. Indeed, the untimely death of the son caused severe lamentation for the father. One may put forward the argument, if the king's son was his enemy, how could the king have so much affection for him? In answer, the example is given that when someone's wealth falls into the hands of the enemy, the money becomes the enemy's friend. Then the enemy can use it for his own purposes. Indeed, he can even use it to harm its previous owner. Therefore, the money belongs to neither to the one party nor to the other. The money is always money, but in different situations it can be used as an enemy or as a friend. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, it is not by any father or mother that the living entity is given his birth. The living entity is a completely separate entity from the so-called father and mother. By the laws of nature, the living entity is forced to enter the semen of the father and be injected into the womb of the mother. He is not in control of selecting what kind of father he will accept. Prakrite kriyamanani. The laws of nature force him to go to different fathers and mother, just like a consumer commodity that is purchased and sold. Therefore, the so-called relationship of father and son is an arrangement of Prakriti or nature. It has no meaning, and therefore it is called illusion. The same living entity sometimes takes shelter of an animal father and mother, and sometimes a human father and mother. Sometimes he accepts a father and mother among the birds, and sometimes he accepts a demigod father and mother. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Harassed life after life by the laws of nature, the living entity wanders throughout the entire universe in different planets and different species of life. Somehow or other, if he's fortunate enough, he comes in touch with a devotee who reforms his entire life. Then the living entity goes back home, back to Godhead. Therefore to say, Janame Janame, Shabe Pita Mata Pai, Krishna Guru Nahi Mile, Bhaja Hari A. In the transmigration of the soul through different bodies, everyone in every form of life, be it human, animal, tree, or demigod, gets a father and mother. This is not very difficult. The difficulty is to obtain a bona fide spiritual master in Krishna. Therefore, the duty of a human being is to capture the opportunity to come in touch with Krishna's representative, the bona fide spiritual master. Under the guidance of the spiritual master, the spiritual father, one can return home, back to Godhead. So here we're looking at the situation of the living entities in the material world, and actually what's important. Because in the day-to-day things, so many things are important, right? Because we're dealing with them, we identify with them, we're working with them, we take them as very important. And so then our values are, what we endeavor for, how we interact with people, our attractions, our attachments, our repulsions, all this are based on these aspects. But here we have that Chitraketu has just lost his son, right? So now it's going to be a matter of thinking very seriously about the situation. Now he can lament like everybody else and go on in the external view of things, which is natural. But that's what's called ordinary. We always have to remember when it talks about ordinary, this is ordinary. But what one can do, as Narad Muni is pointing out, is see the devotional aspect. Right? So first you have to establish that there isn't any validity to the material aspect. Then you can bring out the devotional. Because if we just bring out the devotional directly, then sometimes we don't see the connection, or we're not in the right attitude. You know, it's like, but no, it's about Krishna. But how could Krishna let this happen, and this and that? I'm a devotee. Why is my son dying? You understand? So that's why these things are brought up here. It's not about harassing people that they're attached and this and that. We're talking about everybody. The example is given through a grihastha life. You're given with a king who's very intent on getting a son. He has 10 million wives just to ensure that he gets a son. Finally, he gets one son. That son dies. So the intensity of his feelings are going to be much greater than anybody on the planet today who loses a child. Right? We can just see the investment that's there, the effort that's there is so much greater. So we can't say, no, my situation's different. Bhagavatam always chooses examples so that you cannot say that. It specifically targets so nobody can say, no, but my situation is different. We have to take it and know this applies to us. So what's the point? The point is it's about the soul and their connection with Krishna. Since we're in the material world, whatever situation we're in, we use it in Krishna's service. That's the method. But it's not about what we're using in Krishna's service that's important. It's about serving Krishna. That's the actual point. But we get distracted by all these secondary things, that these are so important. The relationships, the attachment, our money, justice, all these things are so important to us. And if they're not right, how can we go on? How can we be Krishna conscious? You know, it's like, well, what does that got to do with it? You know, if the son doesn't clean up his room, how can I cook dinner? It's like, what do the two got to do with each other? You know, you're disturbed, your mind's disturbed, but what's that got to do with dinner? They don't have any connection. We make it a connection. We make it important. We make it, without this I can't function, I can't do, I can't. But in actuality, it's about Krishna. It's not about us. We're involved. If it's about Krishna, we're included. If it's about us, Krishna's not included, not directly, not knowingly. That's called illusion. Krishna, of course, is always connected. But if we don't make the connection, we don't see that connection, we're in illusion. And we get the benefit of illusion. So Chitraketu is suffering because of this. And so Narad Muni is pointing out by bringing the sun, and the sun now is functioning on the platform of the soul. Because all souls, when they're separated from the body, then there's much more of an understanding of what's going on. Right? So then, at that time, we're bringing out that why is he a king? Why does he have a son? Why are there relationships? Right? Just for themselves? And their illusion, they're going to go away. Next life, there'll be another mother, father, different situation. And the soul is eternal, so what does that got to do with anything? You know, what would you think? I bring in a big suitcase, plunk it down on the table, open it up, there's $1 million inside. And then I say, this is for you. And then you go, wow, great. Then I close it and I leave. What happened? Oh, it was for you, only for that second. You know, then would you tell everyone, wow, I'm rich, no. So that's what's happening. Just here, because we identify on such a small frame of time, we think it's a long time. Just like for the ant, his 2 weeks is 100 years for him. Or the bug that's around the light bulb, that night, that's 100 years for him. Right? So it's the same thing. Same experience. So it's being pointed out here is that the reason that we get into don't lament, be in the mode of goodness, these and that, simply because those are more useful to engage in Krishna's service. But it's not about those either. It's about Krishna consciousness. But since happiness comes by an endeavor, which comes by knowledge in a situation, therefore, these situations and knowledge and endeavor are useful if they generate Krishna consciousness. If they don't, then they're just another illusion. They're just another drama. Right? They don't have any value. We give them value. We say, oh, it has to be this and it has to be that, and so worried about our morality and our justice and our economics and relationships and community, all these different things. But if they're not connected to Krishna, they're just a waste of time for the soul. And for the body, being dead matter, it really doesn't care. It really doesn't care. Right? It's not when the soul leaves the body, then the body goes, now I can do what I want. Yeah, wow, now some real me time, right? You know, and then the body goes off down the road, you know, hey, how you doing? Yeah, you know, like doing all these different things that go down. No, it's not doing that. It just lays in the ditch and couldn't care less. Nice ditch, not nice ditch. Right? It's not, you know, it's not, you know, as it falls over, wait, I don't like this ditch. I want to be in that ditch. No. So that's the thing. It doesn't mean anything to the soul. It doesn't mean anything to the body. So who does it mean anything to? Actually, nobody. We make it that it's important. We make it that it's important. You know? So that's the whole thing. We're sitting here watching a drama, and our whole happiness depends on how well the actors perform their parts and involve us. And then we'll say, yes, that was a good drama. That's what we're doing. And if they're bad, oh, this is not right, this is not, I'm suffering, and I paid all that money. So that's all it is. We're investing in illusion and then hoping this illusion will make us happy. But that's the problem. It's not, and it's not about not being involved in the illusion. This is just to make us aware. It's actually about why aren't we Krishna conscious? Right? So it's not about how much knowledge, how much renunciation you have, how much austerity you perform. It's about Krishna. These things are useful if they're connected to Krishna. If they're not connected to Krishna, they actually take you away from Krishna. Family life connected to Krishna is a great boon in Krishna consciousness. Family life not connected to Krishna is your quickest route to hell. It's like that. It's a double-edged sword. Anything, your knowledge, it can help you in your service to Krishna, or it can take you away from Krishna. Right? By karma, I think, I'm doing these activities, I'll be happy. And then we don't actually see the real need of the soul. We take everything on the bodily platform. Everything's right and wrong based on the body and on what we'll gain from it. Knowledge, then we have knowledge of the soul, we have knowledge of this and that. If knowledge of skills, then it's just similar more of the body. We have knowledge of the soul. Then when we understand, oh, I'm not the body, I'm this and that, well, we may be satisfied. Okay, well, this is good. I feel comfortable now. I'm not distracted by the material nature. So where's our drive for Krishna consciousness? But if that knowledge is used in Krishna consciousness, how to serve Krishna, then it becomes very dynamic. And vairagya, that will just make you hard-hearted. You don't, because whatever you don't do, you don't want anybody else to do either. You ever notice that? Someone's into something on the, you know, and what if the rest of the world's not into it, then it's weird. And they're going to let you know you're weird. So then but if that's used for Krishna, you deal less with the material energy so you can spend more time dealing with Krishna. It's a great boon. So that's the thing, is these same qualities that are glorified, if they're not connected to Krishna, they will take you away from Krishna, no matter what it is. No matter how big you are, smart you are, great a manager you are, how much money you have, how skilled you are, how much social greatness you have, it will all take you away from Krishna if it's not actually connected to Krishna. It's not a matter of lip service. You actually have to do it. If I just say, yeah, I'm cooking dinner, you know, so where's dinner? Yeah, no, it's happening, I'm doing it. You know, yeah, but we're hungry. Yeah, don't worry, it's all going on, you know, I've been thinking about it. Is there dinner? No. So in the same way, Krishna consciousness is the same. You can talk about, oh yeah, it's for Krishna. How is it for Krishna? don't be technical here. Don't be fanatic. It's not connected. That's simple. So the philosophy is pointing out from all the different angles that we have attachment to our karma, to our jnana, to our vairagya, that this is not devotional service. But if you see it in the right light and use it in Krishna service, it's very useful. Therefore, the same point is glorified, the same point is shown to be not useful. So, how is it? It's not useful if it's not connected to Krishna. It's useful if it's connected to Krishna. But it's got to be about the connection to Krishna. It has to be about Krishna. That's how the Shastras define. See, the Shastras, Manu defines, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur defines. The first principle is it favorable to Krishna? Right? Right? And then it should be free from karma and jnana if we're interested in pure devotional service. Okay. Now, is it according to Shastra? Right? So, okay, we may say so many things, but is it according to Shastra? Because doing things that are not according to Shastra are not recommended. Then, within Shastra, is it according to tradition? How the great, personalities applied this. Not that I just mentally concoct and make up whatever I want because I feel like it. No, what did they do? Then what does the spiritual master say? Then, looking at all that, then we go, okay, now how to practically apply all that in my life. That's spiritual. If you start off, well, it's my life, I am who I am, and then I pick and choose what I want from these other four, how I like to support that, that's called material. Just straight up material. Right? Like that. That's the thing. Someone's doing something, I've seen it myself. Somebody's doing something, and they're going to do it anyway. And then you go, well, according to Shastra, it says you should do like that. And then it's a matter of, oh, yeah, see, now I'm so religious. But they would have done it even if you had said it's irreligious. You understand? So it's not that by that it's like, okay, great, so then it's Shastra, then that must mean, since Shastra comes from Krishna, there must be some element there that Krishna likes. So how can I focus on that and bring that out? No, it's just what I'm doing with my conditioning, now it's supported by Shastra, so I'm good, everyone leave me alone, back off, hey. So this is, Shastra is what it's talking about. It's talking about how, if it's connected to Krishna, it's useful. If it's not connected to Krishna, it's not useful. It doesn't matter how great it is, the people say it is, how the world says it is. The universe can say it's great. It doesn't matter. If it's not connected to Krishna, it has zero value. In fact, it probably has negative value because it will entangle you and take you down. That's the point. But connected to Krishna, it's perfect. But how do we connect it to Krishna? We just say, well, I'm connecting to Krishna, but how do you know what you're connecting is right? How do you know how to do that? You know Krishna? Well, not really. You know Shastra? Well, I don't study that much. It's like, are you following what the Guru says? Well, yeah, something. I'm chanting my japa, You understand? So that's the whole thing. It's just lip service. We have to be very careful. It's so easy. We're just used to just talking anything. Right? What do you do when you're a baby? You like something, you laugh. You don't like something, you cry. After a while, mother figures out this crying is not real. You're just doing that. Right? So, but if somebody buys it, hey, you just keep doing it. But if your mom tells it, no, it has to be real, then you start thinking a bit. But if they just let it go, hey, you go through your whole life. Something goes wrong, this, we're just trying, why, nobody supports, nobody good. It's just like babies. Big, politically correct babies. Nothing else. Nothing else. So that's the difficulty, is that simply we complain and then we make it, oh no, now the new thing is to make it about yourself, and then everyone's supposed to back off and go, oh yeah, no, it's your right, yeah, just, like that. What about Shastra? What about Krishna? What about devotional service? No, that goes out the window, because the first thing is my feelings, me, what I want to do. It's all about me. And if Krishna consciousness will fit into that, great. Krishna consciousness has community. Hey, I like it. You know, we have some singing and dancing. Cool. And hey, check out the girls. They dance really good. Hey, yeah. You know, so I like this. Right? You know, regular kirtan, you're on men on this side, women on that side. Kirtan mele, hey, you can see the girls. Everyone's sitting down. And so what's the whole, how are we connecting this? How are we connecting it? So that's the whole point, is it has to be connected. And it has to be connected in reality. That's why the acharyas and that spend so much. Why does Prabhupada write a page and a half purport for these things? Just so we can go, yeah, I know that. We don't know that. That's the thing. Somebody does something to us we don't like, then there's a sense of justice, and then you say, well, why are you so worried about it? No, because this is not right. Why isn't it right? You know, because it's wrong, you know, it's against the rules. Where's Krishna in this? No, but it's Krishna consciousness, it all has to be good. Why does it have to be good? And you'll find, you can go on like that talking for a long time. It's never about, well, no, there's systems to please Krishna. But it's following Shastra that pleases Krishna, and following Guru and Acharyas that please Krishna. Not because socially in the modern context that this is good. Right? Back in the 60s, 70s, when there was talk of community, meaning you were a hippie, then there was community in the devotee circle. Then when you get into the later 70s, 80s, where there's no more hippies, nobody's talking community. Nobody. Then when it comes up again in the modern world, all about community, but now mainstream, oh, now devotees talk community. We have to understand this. No, it has to be based on Shastra. Shastra is the one that talks about community. The karmis is a little bit of residue left over from previous lifetimes, so they have a concept of community. Or simply because of the animals that, you know, you stick together. Right? If all the buffaloes stick together, it's really hard for the lions to get in and walk off with the kids. You walk around on your own, really easy. Right? So it's a matter of security. It's an economic consideration. It's not that Vaishnavas are valuable. I have to associate with Vaishnavas. Otherwise, why so much justice? Why so much all these other things? So we see is that it's based on the modern mundane thing. Whatever the karmas are doing today, that's what devotees are coming out of their mouth and saying, oh, this is Krishna conscious. But the problem is not that. Even one is doing that. That's not the problem. The problem is where's Krishna in this? It's not about Krishna as a person. Or you say, oh no, but it's the right thing. We should do according to this. Okay, great. Even if we accept that, but then it's about Krishna's God. Simply because he's God. What about him as a person? God means Paramatma. What about him as a person? What is he like? Oh, we're doing this because we're Westerners. Hey, we're in Mayapur. The weather is Mayapur weather. The vegetables are Mayapur vegetables. You know what I'm saying? And if we're being practical, hey, rice costs X amount, and you multiply that by 10, that's how much it costs to buy quinoa. So, but we're just being practical, Prabhu. So we have to understand what we're doing here. Is it about Krishna? How does it please Krishna? If you can connect it, great, then it's perfect. But if you don't connect it, you're just an illusion going on, just like Maharaj Chitraketu. He's the king. He's doing all the right things. He's having the sun so the kingdom can go on, so the citizens will be protected. You know, so that they can perform their duties. It's all pious. It's all good. We're not talking about mundane morality here. We're talking Dharma. We're talking Shastra. And Narad Muni's saying, you know, you're mundane. Because it has to be about Krishna. The reason I do it is because it's Krishna. How does it please Krishna? That has to be the thing. It has to be Krishna as a person. We have to bring it to that personal platform. Otherwise, then the best we get is Paramatma. And even that, then you're required to follow all the rules. We don't do that either. So, oh, we're devotees, we don't follow the rules. And then we make up our own rules. Like that. How does this work? Oh, they didn't smile at me, so therefore this. They broke 5 of my rules. Well, who said these are rules? Where did this come from? Oh, well, everybody knows. Everybody means my one friend that I talked to and they just nodded their heads, so of course then they're agreeing with me. So that's what we're dealing with. It's that mundane. We have to see, no, why we're doing this. Analyze it. It has to be for Krishna. It's not about jnana. It's about using intelligence. This is buddhi yoga to identify, is this for Krishna or not? Because otherwise, then we're just going to go on and on and on and on. But if you want to please Krishna, that's a whole different story. It doesn't change what you're doing. That's the fun part. What I'm talking about doesn't change anything you're doing. It simply changes the mentality and view. That's the beauty of the Vedic system. It's so far elevated in that we just miss what it's for. We think it's a bunch of rules. So we throw them out and make our own rules. No, it's about, does it please Krishna? So here Chitraketu Maharaj, he's having a problem because he thinks this is my son. And then his son has pointed out, oh, why would you consider you're my father and mother? Right? By legal rules, yes, but the point is I'm put into I appeared in, you know, as the child of this father and mother simply by the arrangements and modes of nature. It's not that you sit down there and there's a list, you know, just parents before when they do Garbhadan at that time, then, you know, some Devata shows up with this big long list. So, you know, what are you looking for? You know, like this and that. Okay, we got just the right soul for you. You know, like this. No. It's according to your mentality, you just attract. That's why it says it's just bought and sold. You have the mentality that buys that soul, that's what you get. You don't have, you get somebody else. So that's how it works. So it just moves like that. So that's the whole idea, is that we have to see is that these points that are pointed out that are good and nice on the sensual, on the social, on the religious, on the platform of the soul, these points are only of value seen in connection with Krishna consciousness. Either endeavored for on their own is useless, or thrown out on their own is useless. In other words, niyamagraha is always useless. Doesn't matter which side it is. Oh, we're liberal, we're thoughtful, we don't just blindly accept, so we throw it out, right? But I blindly throw out, somehow or another, that's intelligent. And if I accept it without fully understanding it, that's stupid. That's sentimental. But if without understanding it, I throw it out, I'm so smart. Right? So niyamagraha is always useless. Or I follow all the rules, but I don't know it's about Krishna, so no one else is following the rules, so therefore they're not good devotees. It's all useless. Niyamagraha is useless. So if you're pro-Vedic or anti-Vedic, then get it together. Become Krishna conscious. It's pro-Krishna. And the Vedic system is Krishna's system. He follows it. That's why we're like it. Krishna does it. Krishna breathes the Vedas. He follows the Vedas. The 20th quality of Krishna in 64 qualities is he always follows the Veda. So that's what he likes to do. And it's his rules. So what else are we going to do? We're going to make up our own rules and then just say, hey, you got to accept it. You know, everybody's playing cricket and you're out there playing an American, football. You know, you get the ball. What's going on here? No, but I'm American. I'm not British. We don't play cricket. It's like, what's going on here? So that's the idea, is we're trying to make it work. So it's not pro-Vedic, it's not anti-Vedic, it's pro-Krishna and anti-materialism. That's what we want. That's what we're trying to do. So when the verses talk about how something is desirable, that's because it's useful in Krishna consciousness. But you have to use it in Krishna consciousness. And if it says it's not desirable, that's because it's not used in Krishna consciousness. So that's the point. When it talks about it favorably, it means it is being used in Krishna consciousness in that way. And if it's talking unfairly, because it's not being used. It's not about what it's talking about. Just like food. You offer it to Krishna, it's transcendental. You don't offer it to Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it's stool. It's as good as eating stool. It's like a pig. Right? For pigs, it's just about taste. It's not about purity. Right? So that's the point. The same thing. So now if we take it, because he says it's stool, so therefore foods, anybody who cooks is in Maya because it's all stool. No, that's stupid. Right? But, okay, cooking's okay, so therefore I'm cooking, because it's okay. But what about Krishna? That's the point we have to catch. That's the actual crux. All these other things are to help us understand, to help us give some form to expression. The feminine nature means it's the form and activity. The masculine is the principle. Right? The feminine is that secondary thing. So since our whole business is trying to enjoy the secondary, the feminine means separate from the principle of Krishna. Therefore, we think it's all about that. So either you accept it or you reject it. It's either karma or jnana. But it's not. It's about using it for Krishna. If you can use it for Krishna, use it. If you can't, why would you deal with it? Not that, I get no material benefit, I don't deal, or I get material benefit, so I deal. No, does Krishna get benefit? I deal. If he doesn't, I don't. It's very straightforward. So it's above all this social and issues and fighting. It's above that. So if one's on that level, know that it's mixed devotional service. It's not pure. Unless you know what pure devotional service is, how are you going to get there? If I don't know where Calcutta is and all that, or what Calcutta is, how am I going to get there? If I just go out and get on some bus, you do know Dubuli is in the opposite direction to Calcutta. Right? Like that. You have to know. So that's why we study. That's why Prabhupada introduced the Bhagavatam class. So we'd actually be able to discriminate. Like that. Any questions or comments or something? No? Yes. A Shruti mic.
Thank you for your wonderful class, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you.
Maharaj, can you give some practical examples that you've seen, without naming names, of course, of devotees who appear to be acting or justifying their activities as this is Krishna consciousness, but in your perception it was not connected with Krishna? In this way, maybe we can avoid some of those situations.
There weren't enough examples. Everything that I gave there was examples from what I've seen devotees doing, right? Or what I do myself. Okay. Everything's there. Someone does something wrong. Why that's wrong. Or let's say you take money. It's about money. Money's not being spent properly. But why? What's the problem with money? Why are we so worried about money? Right? Because most people are worried about money, but not about accounts. Who worries about accounts? You know what I'm saying? Most people don't. So if you're down to accounts and fighting over paisa there, that's a conditioned nature. That's not Krishna consciousness. right? Like just so like someone else is fighting over, how they do the kirtan, what melody they used or what like. So all it is that these are all aspects of conditioning. Why we take it as value. Now, that's not a problem because we're supposed to engage our conditioning in Krishna's service. Right? So now, engaging in Krishna's service, then we want to see is that we do that. But that's not the whole service, because seeing that everybody's spending their money right, okay, one, who asked you to do it? Because generally everyone's a self-appointed, generalissimo and whatever it is, And then the second thing is how are you actually connecting it to Krishna? Oh, but it's Krishna, it's bad to waste money. Well, why is it bad to waste money? We're not looking at it as Krishna's energy, and therefore it's Lakshmi, and therefore Krishna has a relationship, so therefore his energy is used in this. It's about pleasing him. It's about wasting money is bad. Why? Because in my life, even if I wasn't a devotee, I would be very careful about wasting money. So we always have to recognize that bringing our conditioning into Krishna consciousness is fine if it's favorable to Krishna. But then in doing that, we upset devotees, we this, that, we overly... but what about our own life? What about our own weaknesses in Krishna consciousness? We think that my service is finding everyone else's fault. No. The whole point is we study this so that we use this. The idea of this class, Bhagavatam class, is that we hear, then we contemplate how to apply this. And there's always a theme going on, right? It'll go for many verses, sometimes many chapters, like that. And then we're contemplating this in our life so that we see how to apply it. That's what we're supposed to do. But if it's always about everybody else and finding everybody else's fault, that's kutinati. That's actually, that's the worst, actually, of all the offenses. Right? Sinful activities, making mistakes in the deity worship, these are less. Kutinati is the worst out of all the things you can do, because you simply find fault. You understand? So that's the thing, is based on we find there, but it's not that. So the point is, yes, there's a fault, but why is it a fault? Because you could do so many nice things with that money. But for Krishna, it's not about the things. He owns all the money. He is money. Right? You know what I'm saying? It's like offering Ganga water to the Ganges. It's not like the Ganga needs it. It is the Ganga. But it's that relationships, it's that endeavor. So we have to see it's not about this atheistic morality that is so popular today. Why do I say atheistic? Because it's not based on Shastra. If it's based on Shastra, then it's called Dharma. And that means it's based on Shastra, means according to Shastra, we live that way. Not that I found a Shastra quote for my atheistic moralism. We're not talking that. That's called what Bhagavatam calls, that's called the Upadharma. Where I'm following the religious principles, but on a lower level. Because your intent is Upadharma, but I'm using Dharma to back it up. Or my intent is Upadharma, and then I use moksha. Oh, we're not this body, Prabhu. But my intent is still a social issue. So it's not spiritual. It's not on the level of we're not this on the soul. It's a social issue. You understand? So we have to see is now, why is that a problem? Why are social issues a problem? Because where's Krishna? It's about the issue that's important. Krishna's there in the background somewhere. But pure devotional service means Krishna's in the front, and then we engage whatever is there. We see Lord Chaitanya's associates, they're dealing with social issues. But it's in connection with Lord Chaitanya. Right? What is it? There was that devotee, I don't remember what happened. Something went wrong, and then according to the law, then he's supposed to be tossed off the Yeah, onto the spikes and killed. And so the devotees are trying to adjust that, not because, oh, this is unrighteous, and he's a devotee. You know, so to serve Lord Chaitanya, then, you know, it means if you're impaled on spikes, really hard to do anything. You ever try to move around and you're impaled on a spike? You just can't get anywhere, you know. Everything's out of reach. It's a problem, right? So it's about that. He's a devotee, and you know, it's not about justice. And so therefore, that's what, it's not that, oh, this is unjust, we got to stop this. It's not a social issue. It's not a political issue. Because Prabhupada mentions you're going to either fight over shastric rules if you have that level of purity, and if not, if you don't follow the shastra, you'll fight over economic or political rules. It's right there in the purport. So the Vedic, they fight over the shastra, the smartas and that, and the non-Vedic or the Western, they fight over economics and politics. That's where it ends, not something else. You know, my rights, that's political. You know, even sense gratification becomes political. You know, just eat your dinner. No, it's my right. You know, it's okay, just eat. You know, you can't even enjoy the meal because you're so in, it's my right, you know. You know, so even sense gratification the Westerners don't get, right? Because they're so caught up in economics and politics. You know what I'm saying? It's rare that some guy's just totally focused on sense gratification. They're rare. They write books about those guys. You know, whether they're good guys or not, but they write books about them. Does that make sense? So the whole point is you have to just take, this is what my life, and what am I doing? How am I applying it? I'm doing this, okay. It's my duty to do this, okay. But am I doing my duty to please Krishna, or am I doing my duty because I like my duty? Right? I'm following Grihastha life because I like Grihastha life, or I'm following Grihastha life because this is the situation I'm in, that I can use my nature and my facility in Krishna's service. That's the difference between pure devotional service and mixed devotional service. Right? And so we propagate pure devotional service. We under no circumstances propagate mixed. We encourage as a beginning stage, but it's always a beginning stage. Like when the kid first gets up and walks, is he an Olympic runner? No, they fall over on their bum. You know, do we say, wow, what an idiot, fell over on his bum? You know, no, you encourage, you know, kids like that. But now he's, you know, 30 years old and he's walking and tripping and falling over on his bum. You know, it doesn't go down well. You have a board meeting, you know, it's not going to go down well. So at some point it has to stop. So all this, you know, jumping up and down and rights and this and that, that's okay for dead, new neophytes. But if you've been in the movement for more than 3 years and you're still talking this, there's something wrong with you. I mean wrong. Like that. Really wrong. Pure devotional service, where not all this, I can do this, I can do that, this one's right, that one's right, oh, this. Oh, it's just pure mundanity. And we're trying to fob it off that it's devotional service. But no one can explain it. No one can explain the philosophy. This connects to devotional service. They'll just use some other tactic of rhetoric to sideline it. Emotions, or blow up, or their position, or their authority, or you don't understand, you know, all these things. We hear them every day. We don't hear philosophy. We don't hear, no, this is how I'm connecting it. Because if we did, it wouldn't be an issue in the first place. So if it's an issue, it's mundane. It's that simple. It's actually that simple. So we preach pure devotional service. And we accommodate mixed devotional service so someone can get started. You know, just like on a bike, you have training wheels. But it's not like in the Olympics, the guy has training wheels on. You know? It doesn't happen. So that's the whole thing, is that one has to know what one's doing and be responsible. Otherwise, age does not make you old. Your body gets old, but we're talking about maturity of the soul, the consciousness. Just because the emotions are developed, because the intelligence is developed, the skills are developed, the body's older, it still doesn't mean that the soul's any more mature. And if we hide behind that, that's a neophyte. Neophytes hide behind their material skills and abilities and knowledge and claim that I'm more advanced, right? A kid off the street joins and a doctor joins at the same time. The doctor will automatically think he's senior to the kid. Why? Because he's the doctor. He's got material skill. He's recognized in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's rare to find someone who doesn't act like that. That's just the way, that's how neophytes function. So, you know, we have to stop the profiling and all this and get down to pure devotional service. Otherwise, we're just going to waste our time, Krishna's time, Prabhupada's time, and just make a mess out of things. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, exactly. Yes.
She's willing to know how to understand what she needs to do to please Krishna when she's performing her activities, when she's working, when she's taking care of her child, how to be sure that what one is doing is pleasing Krishna.
Right. Means that, okay, why do you choose what you do? Right? We choose what we do because it fits within the category of our duties. Right? Where do duties come from? They're defined by Shastra. So being defined by Shastra, then we know, okay, I'm doing the correct thing. But then Shastra also explains why those things are correct. So like you said, taking care of your child. Why is taking your child something to do? Because it's not the child. We're connected with the particular body. That's where we're interacting. But in that body, there's a soul. And that soul is part and parcel of Krishna. So you have to take care of the child in such a way that they can become Krishna conscious. So one, they need the Krishna conscious training, the Krishna conscious activities, but they also need the secondaries. We're talking about things that make it easy to be Krishna conscious, right? If the mother cares about the child when they're small, then when they grow up, then they can care about others. Most people, that's always about themselves because their parents didn't take care. Your parents take care when you're small and are always there for you and right there for you. You're confident, you're comfortable. It's not about, oh, well, what about me? What about me? What about me? That's for people who didn't get enough energy. That's why moms are supposed to be putting in so much energy to the kid. Because then they'll be confident, and then when about Krishna, then they can be Krishna conscious and confident. It's not about themselves. They can, because their mom sacrificed for them, they can sacrifice for others. And that ultimate other is Guru, Krishna, and the Vaishnavas. But if the mom is so busy being a pure devotee, you know, and at the temple and never there with the kid, and then the kid is all about themselves. And so how is that a service? Then why have the kid in the first place? You know, if you're going to do it, do it. If you're only going to half do it, then, you know, oh, it's Maya, right? Have the kid, but it's Maya. You know, it's like, you know, I remember it was in our temple was that all the brahmacharis are there, and I think sometime after 6 months or 9 months, one of the brahmacharis was getting married. So all the brahmacharis are sitting around, and just as they're about ready to go for the marriage, I don't even know what happened. I don't even see the marriage, but whatever, it was there. But I remember one thing that stood out was that, you know, they were all saying, okay, yeah, you know, because he was putting on his white and all that, and says, yeah, okay, that's good, you know. Yeah, what to do, you know, like that. But you can wear saffron kopans, you know, you can still, yeah, you know, then it's like, okay, yeah, you know, so it's just kind of like, huh, what? You know, whatever it is. We come up with our own systems, right, you know, but everybody was happy and like that. So the whole idea is that that's why we're there. We're taking care, we're cooking nice because Krishna's in the home, we're cooking for Krishna. Right? And then this way, naturally, we get taken care of. You take care of Krishna, we're automatically taken care of. You cook nice for Krishna, we get nice things to eat. That's why it's about Krishna. If it's about us, Krishna's not going to get anything good to eat, especially nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole thing, is we have to be careful, is that we have to see it, how will it, Krishna's a person, it's about, I'm doing this to please him as a person, not because it's rules. So you understand? So in other words, Krishna's primary, rules are secondary. Now whether you like to follow rules or you like to break rules, whichever party you fall into, it's not about the rules, it's about pleasing Krishna. But rules have to be followed. So if you're one that likes to break rules, you're already at a disadvantage. Those who can follow rules, they already at advantage, because you need rules for anything. Economics has rules, social things has rules, governance has rules, knowledge has rules, everything has rules. So if you're one of those anti-authority, anti-rule people, you're already at a disadvantage. If you're able to follow them, then that's an advantage, but it's still mundane. You have to connect it to Krishna. Does that make sense? So we're not conservative, we're not liberal, we're broad-minded. It means we're in the middle. We understand the rules and we understand the individual. Liberals don't understand rules, conservatives don't understand individuals. Only Vaishnavas can understand this. So if we use any mundane system, modern system, you will not understand it. It's mundane. To start from our conditioning and work out from there is mundane. We may do it as neophytes, but we can't claim that this is advanced, or this is mature, or this is real. Right? We start with Krishna, and then how do we fit in with Krishna? So therefore, okay, Krishna has a whole social system. Within that, you have brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. I'm comfortable fitting in the grihastha. Not, I'm a grihastha. No, Krishna has these. I fit into there. I want to serve Krishna as a grihastha. Then what does a grihastha do? These are the things. So therefore, I'll do those things to please Krishna. But if it's about me, my rights, my kid, my house, my family, my money, then where's Krishna fit in? You know, what crack that you can't stick a razor blade in are you going to fit Krishna into? Because technically, if we want to be really straightforward, when you start with yourself and then go out to Krishna, that, according to Shastra, is called a grihamedi. Grihamedi means the house is the medi, the center. And then you add on to that family, money, society, Krishna, devotees. Hey, I love, does that make sense? Like that. So we have to, that's why Bhagavatam describes grihamedis. Not because, we have to, something just we can throw in the face of the, dirty, stinky, smelly karmis. So we don't become one. Grihastha means Krishna's the center. Grihamedi means I'm the center. It's that simple. So all today, all about my rights, that's grihamedi. What about the justice? Grihamedi. Because it's not about Krishna. Right? Because if it was all about the rule, then why Krishna had that thing with Yudhishthira? Told him to tell a lie. So some say his chariot touched the ground because he told a lie. But the Vaishnavas know it's because he didn't do it for Krishna. So that's why these things are there. And it's standard stuff. Right? The guy is, just to put it on another example of that, about the personal, okay? The guy is doing his job to make money for the family. And he's always doing that. But at some point the wife wants to check, is it actually about the family or is it about him? Because it's about the family, then you put some family emergency up at the same moment that some really important economic thing's happening. And then which does he choose? If he chooses the economic, then it's about the economics, not about the family. If he chooses the family, then you know, okay, he cares about the family. Then you encourage him in his economics. Right? So where does this come from? Why does the female nature have that unless it's there in Krishna? His energy is only the activities and forms that match Krishna's mood. They're not something else. They're not independent. So therefore, that's why the Vedic system is the natural feminine position of serving Krishna's mood. And if we reject that and militate against it, then what's our position? Then it's just, I'm the controller and enjoyer. Bus. End discussion. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So it's late. We should end here. Chai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhaktivedanta ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi.